Mr. Speaker, I don't think anybody could credibly accuse this government of being complacent about the threat that this virus poses at any point. We have worked flat out, Mr. Speaker, to minimise loss of life. Mr. Speaker, to minimise loss of life, to protect the NHS, while they have flip-flopped, Mr. Speaker, from one position to another.
Now, I think, well, I've said it. I think I'm terribly sorry that I didn't do it earlier, but it just seemed like such a massive thing. It was almost surreal, the whole experience. And then the next morning, when there was this kind of the Jeff Goldblum scene with Ben explaining things, the whole thing just seemed like a kind of out of control movie. But to be clear, on the 12th, okay, on this crazy day of the 12th, we're sitting in the Prime Minister's office. We said, Prime Minister, you should go on TV tomorrow and explain to people the herd immunity plan and that it's like the old chickenpox parties. We need people to get this. And I said, Mark, you've got to stop using this chickenpox analogy. It's not right. And he said, why? And Ben Warner said, because chickenpox is not spreading exponentially and killing hundreds of thousands of people.
Former advisor, and I note the Prime Minister's careful not to refute the...
Minister.
Mr. Speaker.
Keir Starmer.
Speaker, the Prime Minister can't have it both ways.
The handling of this pandemic has been one of the most difficult things this country has had to do for a very long time, and none of the decisions have been easy. To go into a lockdown is a traumatic thing for a country. To deal with a pandemic on this scale has been appallingly difficult, and we've at every stage tried to minimise loss of life, to save lives, to protect the NHS, and we have followed the best scientific advice that we can.
Mr. Speaker, what we're seeing today is the latest chapter of a story of confusion, chaos and deadly misjudgments from this government. From a Prime Minister governing by press release, not a plan. In the last 20